She said what to who?
Well, he's a cutie pie. I might put him in Potomac. Okay, yes. Yeah, he can come right on to Potomac.
What's up, guys? It's your boy DJRichieSkye. We are back with another video. I want to thank you so much for tuning into the channel. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that notification bell button so you can be clued in to when we drop new content here on this channel. And today we've got something very interesting that I want to talk about. And I'm actually going to be talking to a good friend of mine about it a bit later. I'll give you guys more details about that when we towards the end of this video. So, you know, you guys are really going up for OG on Basketball Wives. And there's something I want to talk to you guys about, but I want to give you this little bit of news first. So VH1 has premiered a snippet of this week's episode of Basketball Wives, which will be out tonight. And so you guys will be able to look for this when it actually comes out. And to me, it's pretty polarizing. In the episode, Kristen is basically catching up with Jennifer and Evelyn, and she's essentially telling them a little bit of tea regarding CeCe. And basically what she is doing is, I think she's pretty much trying to get revenge on CeCe by releasing something that is pretty private of CeCe's so that, you know, it paints CeCe in a negative light. I mean, let's just be real, that's what it's doing. And so in the clip, she basically says that CeCe has called OG an ugly man. I'm paraphrasing, and then I'm paraphrasing the news outlets as well, right? So this is what Kristen says in the clip. And then Kristen also says that she has text message receipts that actually show what was said. Now, I think from what we can see here, what was actually said was that she's not attractive and wears weird-ish. And did you know when we did our shoot, she had paw print designs like these all over her eyelids. So we can't really glean too much else from the text messages as we were shown. So we're not clear on whether or not she said anything else, which kind of harkens back to why Kristen asked OG at that dinner, do you think that she has always, if she could talk about me or the rest of us, don't you think that she could do the same to you? And to be very honest with you, that's a very good question, because I am of the same belief. If you can see someone doing something to someone else, they can just as sure do it to you. Now, this is including some type of foul act. Now, with regards to that, I'm a little bit disappointed in this whole situation. You know, a lot of you guys have gone up for OG, and a lot of you guys have pointed out the double standard that has occurred on Basketball Wives with regards to OG. Because if you think about it, and I'm looking at this from a broader perspective now, because I want to look at this fairly. You know what I'm saying? I want to look at it fairly, and I want to take myself, you know, out of the land of familiarity with older cast members, you know, like the Shaunies and the Evelyns and the Malaysias and the Jackies and the Tamis, and sort of open myself up to the perspective of a newer cast member who is basically, you know, kind of on her own, holding her own as well. So, you know, one of the things that I'm looking at currently is, you know, there is a little bit of a double standard here. You know, for years, we've had Tami having incidences with different characters like, you know, Duffy, Mika Claxton back in the day, even Evelyn herself. And then we look at incidences with Evelyn with, you know, throwing the bottles and, you know, all types of other shenanigans, and throwing the cup of water or whatever it was at Jen last week, and Jen pretty much responding, you know, in kind. And so OG, who is a newer cast member who is probably just standing up for herself. And I think sometimes what happens is when you're surrounded by people that you know kind of not feeling you, it's probably gonna put you a bit more on edge. So she might be like, yo, like, if any of y'all try it, you know, y'all not gonna come at me crazy. Basically, I think that's what she is wanting to let everybody know. Shaunie said that her aggression is, you know, driving a wedge between her and the rest of the group, and I'm paraphrasing that from the episode. And now that I'm looking at it, it's like, you know, I'm bringing this up because they're saying that the numbers for Basketball Wives these past couple of episodes have been lower, which is interesting to me because we've had a lot of dramatic action happening. So I don't know if we should be attributing it to less Tami, if we should be attributing it to quote unquote bullying, because there are a lot of you guys who have basically said that you feel like a lot of the cast members have been bullying OG. That would include Malaysia and Evelyn, and to a certain degree, maybe even Shaunie. You know, I don't know what to attribute it to. I've had a couple of people DM me and send me messages and basically tell me that it was an issue with colorism as well. And I think that what I want to point out to you guys is there's a great vlog out by a vlogger named Paris Milan. I wanted to point that out to you because, you know, she did a great video really kind of showing instances of colorism over the past 9 seasons of Basketball Wives. And even breaking it down into specific categories. And it's something that I hadn't really thought about because I'm typically just watching the show, I'm reviewing the show, I'm looking, was it action-packed, who threw the best shade or whatever. But I think if you look at it from a historical perspective, I'm wondering if we have an issue here. And if so, I just want to know what you guys think about it. Because a lot of you are really passionate about OG in particular. And she's, I think, quickly becoming perhaps a fan favorite. Now, let's look at the issues. I do think that she should have not exposed the information about Thomas. But in the same regard, I think that Kristen should never mention anything about OG's man either, because OG has since, you know, seemed to be incensed by something that Kristen said about Kwame. So I think that people should leave the husbands and the boyfriends, you know, off limits in general. And so then there's no one's crossing the lines. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like that would sort of solve that issue, because, you know, while I do agree to some extent that the husbands and boyfriends are indirectly a part of the show, I do think that when it comes to their personal business, you know, that should be off limits because a lot of these guys may still work in basketball or, you know, play overseas or, you know, maybe agents or what have you. So I feel like they should stay out of that whole situation and keep it focused on the lives of the wives and indirectly the men. You know what I'm saying? Unless the men are just pushed into the forefront of the show, which they don't seem to be as much except for CeCe's fiance and Thomas. So with that being said, I want to ask you guys this. You know, is the issue, first of all, what do you guys think about this whole situation with CeCe saying that she was unattractive? I think that's actually different from calling someone ugly, but you guys, I want to hear from you guys. And then the next thing I want to know is, do you guys think that there is an issue of colorism here? And then what do you think we can do about it? Because is this a production thing or is it a casting thing? Is it a thing where we need to, you know, or VH1 needs to pay a little bit more attention to this? You know, I'm really curious about that. Because at the end of the day, something I want to point out is that while OG might have threatened to, you know, offer a fade, she's never actually had a violent incident. So there's something to be said about that as well, that I want to point out. So my questions are, what do you think about CeCe saying this to Kristen and Kristen basically spilling the beans? I'm not a fan of releasing text messages. I'm not a fan of that in general. What do you guys think about that? Next, what do you guys think about this whole issue? Is there an issue of colorism? Do you see it? Do you feel it? Do you think that there's been a historical pattern here over the course of this particular franchise? Or do you think that this is an example of bullying, particularly with regards to newer cast members? Let me know your thoughts on this, because I want for us on this channel, I want us to be sensitive to the issues of a lot of our people, you know what I'm saying? And so I want to make sure that, you know, to me, if that's the issue, I don't necessarily know that, you know, this is a show I want to continue to support if I'm getting that sense. Does that make sense to you guys? I'm at a state of confusion, and I want you guys to sort of provide some insight. And please, you know, be respectful in the comments, because I feel like there's a way to have very constructive, thought-provoking feedback, and then just kind of just going ham and just saying whatever and not really sort of understanding what I'm asking. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think we should do about this. You know, I love this show, I love the franchise, but I don't want to see that. And I want to know why you guys think the viewers are tuning out, and if this is the reason. So hit me up in the comments, subscribe to the channel, show me some love on Instagram. You guys know where to find me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, what I meant to tell you guys was that I think that I'm gonna go and chit chat with my boy Funky Dineva today. We're gonna do a couple of videos, and you know, this might be one of the things that we actually talk about, because I feel like it's something that, you know, he would be really interested in sounding off on, and I'm just interested to get his perspective as well. So be on the lookout for that video. It's going to be coming out either Thursday or Friday, so stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I really do try to come at you guys with genuine, you know, commentary, and nothing too scandalous, but I do want to talk about the real issues. So be on the lookout for the next video.